United States Army, in cooperation with the American Broadcasting Company and the American National Theater and Academy, presents, in the order of their appearance, Alfred Drake, Nan Wynn, Henry Morgan, Louis Calhoun, Arthur Margetson, Bay Emerson, and Ralph Bellamy. This is Theater USA.
The theater is more than a series of light-spangled marquees flanking Times Square, New York City. It's in Kansas City, Oklahoma City, Salt Lake City, and every other city and town in America. And an actress doesn't become a star by purchasing a railroad ticket one fine day, arriving in Manhattan, and being given the lead on Broadway. More than likely, she may make her first appearance at the age of 3 in the high school auditorium in Wheeling, West Virginia. And during the course of her upward journey, she may play on the stage at the Elks Club in Minneapolis, sing for a college prom at Washington and Lee. She'll hit Hollywood and radio, the summer stock and the barns of New England, and the dark, glassy floors of the nightclubs of Chicago. And then finally, Broadway. The beautiful example of this reached stardom last season. Right now, she's walking across the stage of the 48th Street Playhouse to give us 2 songs by George Gershwin. Ladies and gentlemen, Nan Wynn.
And only, what am I gonna do if you turn me down when I'm so crazy over you? I'd be so lonely. Where am I gonna go if you turn me down? Why blacken all my skies of blue? I tell you, I'm not asking any miracles. It can be done. It can be done. I know a clergyman who will grow lyrical and make us one, my one and only. There isn't a reason why you should turn me down when I'm so crazy over you. I tell you, I'm not asking any miracles. It can be done. It can be done. I know a clergyman who will grow lyrical and make us one, my one and only. There isn't a reason why you should turn me down when I'm so crazy over you. There's somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone who'll watch over me. I'm a little lamb who's lost in the wood. I know I could always be good to one who watch over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he'll carry the key. Won't you tell him, please, to put on some speed, follow my lead? Oh, how I need someone to watch over me.
Two good turns deserve another. Nan Wynn's encore is one more first for Theater USA. Here for its premiere performance on the air, Dorothy Parker's poem, The Choice, set to music by Frank Marks and sung by Nan Wynn.
He'd have given me rolling lands, houses of marble and billowing farms, pearls to trickle between my hands, smoldering rubies to circle my arms. You'd only a lilting song, only a melody happy and high. You were sudden and swift and strong, never a thought for another had I. He'd have given me laces rare, dresses that glimmered with frosty sheen, shining ribbons to wrap my hair, horses to draw me as fine as a queen. You'd only to whistle low. Gaily I followed wherever you led. I took you, and I let him go. Somebody ought to examine my head.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, there's a theory that show business is filled with temperament. Actors are argumentative, musicians are mad, prima donnas are mean, character women are crotchety. Probably the most unpredictable, though, are the comics. You never know what they're going to do. Take the fellow I've got in mind right now. Here I am standing at the footlights about to give him a long introduction. But he's the kind of fellow who, well, just as I'm about to start the spiel, could walk out of the wings and say,
"Good evening, anybody. Here's Morgan." Hooray. You sit there at home and you hear all that applause and you think, gee, it must be fun to be a comedian. It must be a million laughs. Well, it's time that the truth came out. It's not always fun being a comedian, even a comedian who's working. For instance, other night I was at a party and the hostess came over and said, "Henry, everybody's having a wonderful time. And now I'd like them to meet you." So she introduced me to a fellow who said, "Say, I heard your program once. It was all right. Oh, you did a Russian music commentator. How'd that go again?" I said, "Well, went something like this. Good afternoon. This is Henry Morganovich speaking to you from Carnegie Hall. This afternoon, orchestra will play a number by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. Tchaikovsky was born in Binsnebye. Binsnebye is 4 miles northwest of Nizhny Novgorod, provided you take the road from Pupst. No, that road takes 5 miles. The best road goes from Starosnegye around Pupst. But that don't go to Binsnebye. Close, though, except in winter. I wouldn't go that way. You could go that way, but why should you? In first place, it's uphill. Horses don't like it. Yes, some horses like it, but most horses, they don't like it. Usually. Now, Rachmaninoff wrote... Eh? Oh, Tchaikovsky. Yes, Tchaikovsky was born in Binsnebye. Oh, I told you that. Well, I told you all about him. That's all I know. Well, I get through with that, and there's a big, enthusiastic silence. Finally, the fellow says... The man says to me, "Anyway, I sounded great on the radio. I tell you, Henry, I didn't mean the Russian music commentator. I meant the American news commentator, Gabriel something. Know what I mean?" Well, I know what he means, but naturally I wait to be urged. About 5 seconds. And then I do that one for him. There's good news tonight. There's a man sitting somewhere tonight. Sitting on something. Who knows what? Tonight. And that man is wondering, even as you and I are wondering, about who knows what. Tonight. And picture this if you can. Somewhere there's a chubby little boy walking through a green field of blooming poison ivy. And that little boy is bareheaded, barefooted, and so on. And that boy is stroking his dog, and that dog is wagging his tail. And now that dog is stroking that boy, and that boy is wagging his tail. And there's something about the sight of a boy wagging his tail that makes you want to say, ah, there's good news somewhere tonight. And now, before I leave you, I must remind you of a question that every Frenchman in France is asking himself tonight, and every American would do well to take heed of. And that question is, pourquoi voulez-vous danser sur la fenêtre? Good night. You know, it can be a lot of fun being a comedian. Good night.
That special face, the face that fills my dreaming, wine the rhythmed grace, wine the form so lithe and slender, wine the arms so warm, so tender, wine the kiss divine, wine the love for me, the love that fills my dreaming, when all these charms are thine, then you'll be mine. Oh, mine. I wrote a poem in classic style. I wrote it with my tongue in my cheek and my lips in a smile. But today my poem has a meaning so new, for to my surprise it suddenly applies to my darling, to you. That special face, the face that fills my dreaming, wine the rhythmed grace, wine the form so lithe and slender, wine the arms so warm, so tender, wine the kiss divine, wine the love for me, the love that fills my dreaming, when all these charms are thine, then you'll be mine. Oh, mine.
We should like to bring you that sophisticated imported delicacy currently in its 7th month at the Booth Theater here in New York. Ferenc Molnar's The Play's the Thing, starring Louis Calhern, Fay Emerson, and Arthur Margetson. As its title indicates, it's about the theater, of the theater, and by one of the ablest theater men of modern times. And so, having said this, may I introduce its principal character, Louis Calhern, as Sándor Turai, the famed international playwright.
It isn't easy to be a playwright. Take the little incident that happened to me one Saturday last summer. Albert Adam, the young man who writes the music for my plays, accompanied me on a little trip. We'd gone off to finish an operetta. We decided to do it at a villa on the Mediterranean. Also at the villa was our leading lady, Elena Savo. Now, it stands to reason that Albert, my young composer, was desperately in love with her. After all, they were engaged. But it does not stand to reason that one of Eleanor's old flames, a middle-aged actor named Almady, should have been at the villa, too. In fact, therein lay my trouble. For totally unaware of our presence, Eleanor and the wretched Almady were carrying on something of a flirtation in Eleanor's suite, which adjoined ours.
No. Oh, it's always no. Now, what do you mean by
Sure,
all this singing?
Albert, my boy, it's nothing. It's nothing at all.
Almady, I've told you everything's over and ended. I've put you out of my life forever. You've no right to behave like this.
No right. I who made you. I with whom you shared so many wonderful, unforgettable hours. Eleanor.
Jorai, did you hear that?
Not a thing, my boy.
Jorai, it's her, Eleanor. I'd know that voice anywhere.
Just words.
No, it's the truth, Eleanor. I'm crazy about you and you. You've used me up and squeezed me like a lemon, and now you want to throw me away. I'm a squeezed lemon, that's what I am, a squeezed lemon. The whole world shall know that I'm a lemon.
Oh, I don't want to throw you away, silly. Now, what's the sense in raving like this? Oh, come here. Let me kiss your beautiful classic brow.
She said, Jorai, did you hear her? I'll kill her. I'll never see her again. Jorai, did you hear what she said?
Yes, I heard what she said. Pretty bad, wasn't it? But I've written characters of my own in and out of situations much more impossible than that. So I stayed up all night, and by morning, I was prepared for the best.
You sent for me, Sándor?
Sit down, Eleanor.
Why?
Because after you hear what I have to say, you'll most certainly sit down, and you'll sit down hard. You'd better do it now while you can do it gracefully.
But I don't understand.
You will, my dear. Eleanor, in spite of the fact that you are engaged to be married to my young friend Albert Adam, you are still carrying on a flirtation with Mr. Almady.
It's an outrageous lie.
Good. I thought you were going to say it's none of my business. Now, look here. I've been in this room since last night, and the walls in this new wing are thin as paper.
Good heavens.
Lemon.
Oh.
Squeezed lemon. Now, suppose we talk this over. Something's got to be done, and done quickly.
Well, if you heard that, then you heard what I said, too.
Every word. In fact, Albert heard it, too.
Good heavens. He's here, then?
He's here.
Where?
Oh, he's in the next room, asleep. Last night he was in this room, awake.
I'll take poison. All there is in the bathroom closet.
No, that's not enough.
10 ounces?
No, I wasn't referring to the poison. I mean, suicide is no solution.
Oh, there isn't any solution that I could survive. There are only two things I can possibly do. Kill myself or deny the whole story.
I did, child. If it was simply a matter of telling lies, I'd never have disturbed you. I'd have told them all myself long ago.
Well, then we come back to the poison.
Which we find safely tucked away in his little bottle.
Well, what do you suggest?
I have a plan. All I ask of you is not to hinder it.
Well, you know I worship Albert. Now, if anybody knows that, you do. And you know very well how I felt about that Almady. First, he gave me breathing lessons, and then he taught me how to throw my voice.
Yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did, didn't he? Now, what we've got to do is to get you out of this mess.
Oh, Sándor. Sándor, darling, do you really think you can?
Yes, I think I can. But don't you get the idea that I'm doing this for you, not for the sake of your beautiful eyes. You deserve to be drawn and quartered. Hello. Give me Mr. Almady's room, please.
Well, what are you doing?
Mr. Almady? Yes? This is Sándor Turai speaking. Good morning. Oh, you were awake already? Well, that's good. Would you mind coming here at once? This is room number 4.
I'm leaving, Turai.
Where are you off to?
Well, if Almady's coming here, I'm not
You'll
going
kindly remain just where you are.
Oh, Albert looked on me as a saint. He thought I was everything that was fine and pure. He used to call me his Madonna.
Dear me, how young is that boy?
What was that plan you said you had? Can't you tell me?
Patience, my dear.
Oh,
Patience.
it's too cruel. Just because I hate hurting other people's feelings.
Come in.
Good morning, Turai. Hello, you here, Eleanor?
Oh, yes, she's here.
What's the matter? Has something happened?
Oh, sit down.
No, he'll sit down all right. I'm not worried about him. He'll sit down.
You'll forgive me if I seem nervous.
Glass of brandy.
Thank you. Never in the morning.
Mr. Almeida, you are forcing your attentions on another man's fiancée.
It's an outrageous lie.
Good. I thought you were going to say it's none of my business.
Mr. Turai, I would have you know.
Shut up.
Shut up?
Lemon.
Oh.
Squeeze lemon.
Oh.
Oh, yes. That wall is as thin as paper. Now, sit down.
Why, is there something else coming?
Yes. I wasn't the only one who overheard you last night. This young lady's fiancé was in the room with me, and his hearing is excellent.
Brandy.
What, in the morning?
I always take it in the morning.
Well, Alfred, what are you going to do now, you miserable idiot, you? Do you see what you've done to me? You've driven me to suicide. Oh, I shall die. I shall die.
I'll die with you.
I don't want you. I'm going to die alone.
I'm ready to give him satisfaction.
No. I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to do exactly as I order.
Order?
Yes, order.
And thank your lucky stars that I'm going to get you out of this mess. Now, listen. Last night, in that room, something occurred.
Oh, yes, please. We know what occurred.
That's precisely what you don't know and what I'm going to tell you. What occurred was the rehearsal of a play. Will you grasp my meaning?
In the middle of the night?
In the middle of the night.
But how do you mean the rehearsal of the play?
Well, your, shall we say, your penetrating remarks last night were dialogue from a play. Now, do you understand?
Oh, I do. Oh, it's the most marvelous, wonderful idea, you darling. Oh.
What's the matter?
Oh, it's no good. He'd never believe it.
Why wouldn't you believe it?
Well, now, where on earth are you going to find a play with lines in it like those?
Where? Here.
What do you mean?
Here you are. Here's the play. This is it.
Well, who wrote it?
I did. Don't stare at me, my dear child, with those starry eyes of brown. Rather ask me when I wrote it.
Oh, when could you have written it?
This morning between 4 and 6. After all, one is either a playwright or one isn't. Half of it I heard through the wall, and the other half I wrote to fit. Well, there you are. There's the play. Read it, learn it, and play it.
Play it?
Naturally. How else are you to make him believe that everything you said last night was dialogue from a play? Oh, there'll be a dress rehearsal this evening. Then the performance.
Tonight? But I can't possibly.
You must.
Anything, Chandor, anything at all. But will it work?
Will it work? Of course it worked. Albert and Eleanor were married in Budapest the week before our operetta opened. He was happy, so his songs were good. She was happy, so she stopped singing off the key. And I'm happy gathering royalties from the resulting triumph. So whether it be a villa on the Mediterranean or a theater in town, you must admit, ladies and gentlemen, the play is the thing.
the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.